Welcome to those of you on Facebook Live and YouTube to the Home Spiritual Center Sunday service for November 12th, 2023. I forgot my bifocals. Only used them once this morning. All right. This is the morning's opening prayer. God, thank you for the opportunities to express love that present themselves in these troubled times. When your light glints off the tears in someone's eyes, where hands are held and there are moments without words, let us be aware then. Let us be present then. May we seek to make others' well-being the object of our concern. Let us seek to be aware and present to others' pain, to care for others' wounds, hear others' sadness, celebrate others' success, and allow their stories to change our own. Let us stand barefoot in the morning grass, hear the music of the birds singing good morning to the new day, and breathe in the cool, fresh air that has traveled over oceans and continents just for our in-breath. In the evening, look up at the stars and the planets that fill the night sky with their twinkling beauty. Be witness this coming February to the fresh green buds that spring sprinkled amidst the brown foliage of winter. And for all of this, let us be grateful that Dick doesn't have any more tongue twisters. Let us not shy away from the discomfort of emotions, nor seek to close down our hearts for fear of a new love will come to shake our foundations. For in love, we will find God. In God's love and light, amen. And now I'll turn it over to Reverend Connie, who speaks better than I do.
Before I get into the message of the morning, I want to remind everyone that we are having our In Touch meeting today after church. It will be held in the building just across the way through the green door. And the In Touch meeting is to let you know what the board has been doing, what's been happening here at the church, and perhaps what's planned for the future of our church. It's a way of being in touch with what's going on here. There will be a lunch provided afterwards, so please stay and join us for this meeting.
Welcome, even new members. First time visitor, feel free to come. Thank you.
Okay. The title of my speaking this morning, I'm gonna not get that tongue twisting thing going, please, is thanks and giving, kind of separating that. So I went into a definition of these things. And thanks. Thanks means expressing gratitude for an object or expressing appreciation for being given help. There are a multitude of ways to say thanks. You can give a note card to someone, a phone call, an email, a text message, in person. Wow, that's novel. Yeah, in today's world. Do this with an open-hearted feeling of love within yourself. This tells the giver you are grateful and appreciate the gift. Recently, I had someone send me a card and express their gratitude for what they had received from a message that I had presented to the congregation. It was a lovely Thanksgiving card, and in it was a little bit of a wonderful smelling potpourri mix. And when I opened it, these little blue, this color stars all fell out on my counter. Yes, being grateful. Reverend Jay used to tell us to take our cards or our gifts and charge them up with energy. Placing your cards over your heart, I find, is a very good way to charge them with energy, because this then goes to the giver. Energy goes, it follows thought. It follows our thought. Of course, the opposite of giving is receiving. In this world, many people have great difficulty in receiving because they were taught as children not to be selfish. It isn't selfish to receive gifts from others. It isn't selfish to receive love from others. That's a misunderstanding on our parts. It's not selfish to give to yourself and love yourself. That's the old way, not the new way. Many people do turn it away, as I mentioned. Is this because they do not value themselves or feel unworthy to receive? Turning down a gift often makes the other person feel very uncomfortable because you're not receiving their love. It's like, well, just forgive Miss Reverend Madge right now. She's recovering from a cold and having trouble with coughing. Our bodies are set up with a giving and a receiving side. The right is the giving. The left is the receiving. That's why when we shake hands, we're oftentimes giving because we tend to extend our right hand. Although if you're a lefty, maybe you extend your left because that's the right hand for them. We give right of way in traffic. There are many rights in our world. The left is the receiving or the taking inside. That's where we receive love, right here in our heart centers. There's a word in French, though, gauche, which means left, which tends to mean the wrong side of right. Genetically, right-sided people, let me state this differently. Genetically, we tend to receive that which comes from our father's genetics, and on the left, that which comes from our mother's genetics, which is kind of interesting. You may find yourself experiencing things that your father had happening with his body, more so on the right, and things that your mother had happening with her body on the left. Our thing right now is to come into here and just be balanced, to be balanced. Be no right, no wrong, be balanced. Giving should invoke a feeling of joy within us. If we are choosing a gift or whatever for someone else, or we want to give, you ever had that rush of, ooh, I just want to hug you, I just want to love you? That's that joyful feeling that comes up. And that's what we should have when we give. We should feel joy in our heart. A true gift should not feel like an obligation, nor does it require you to reciprocate. Oftentimes, there's no need to reciprocate. Of course, a simple thank you is always welcome. How many of you remember the story of the little drummer boy? I don't see too many hands going up. Some of the older people do. Some of you younger people may not be as familiar with it. When I was a girl, we had a troupe that would come to our grade school. We had a stage in the lunchroom, and they would do this little play about the drummer boy. In this story, this little boy wants to give something to the Christ child that's just been born, but he doesn't have anything. But he has a little drum, and he knows how to play on it. So his gift is playing his drum for the Christ child. So you can always reach into your heart and find something that you can give. It really doesn't matter what you give to someone. It's the thoughtfulness that is important. The kindness and love behind the giving that is important. Love yourself and give to yourself as well. Express what you want when you are given a choice. You know, oftentimes in the past, and still sometimes today, my husband will say, well, what movie do you want to see? And he'll say this and this. And I would usually go with what I felt he really wanted. These days, that always doesn't prove quite so true. The very first Thanksgiving that ever took place on American soil was at Plymouth. The pioneers had come across the ocean, and they were thankful that they made it. Sea voyages in that time were very dangerous, and oftentimes people lost their lives. So they were grateful. And they got to this new country, this barren place, Plymouth was, and they needed to grow food, they needed to make shelters, and they needed to start a new life, a life that they wanted to be free of the tyranny and the downtrodden that they had experienced in Europe. Gratefully, they accepted the help of the natives at that time, who not only showed them how to plant and what to plant, giving them seeds and help, but also they just had a nice relationship going with these. They helped them how to build shelters and all kinds of things. And come harvest time, they had a bountiful harvest, which they were truly grateful for. So they decided to have a feast and invite their new friends, the natives. And the natives came bringing wild turkeys. That's where we get our tradition. However, in the United States, it took a while for it to become an official type of thing. And we'll get back to that in a little bit. Spirit kept calling me to look at a certain book. It was The Law of Divine Compensation by Marianne Williamson. And I'm going to read you a few things, and some of them I free-worded. She says, the universe is set up to work on your behalf. There are spiritual laws that govern the way things work in our world. These spiritual laws aren't called the good news for nothing. Spiritual truth is always at work beyond what the eye can see. The Spirit works from the invisible spiritual realm through us into the material realm. How does it do this? What do we know that we've been taught here in our metaphysical philosophy? Thoughts are things they create. Beliefs held create. Strong, passionate beliefs, strong, passionate thoughts that we repeat and repeat bring to us like a magnet that which we're projecting outward. That's the law of compensation. To whatever extent mind is aligned with love, you will receive divine compensation. For any lack in your material world, you will also receive that lack if you dwell upon it. If your core belief is I lack, and you carry that with you, then you will subconsciously perpetuate or create the circumstances that reflect that belief. So if you hold lack, and look at what's happening out there in our world right now, Isn't there a lot of presentation of lack of health with the COVID thing, lack of things at the grocery store, the belief that we're not going to have enough, that we're always going to be in this state of war and strife. Right now, and it was interesting, I was talking to Madge about this morning, and she said, well, I just watched a program about this. Isn't what's going on out there so close to what happened after World War II and the Great Depression? Do we want to give energy to that and bring that back upon ourselves? Or do we want to bring in this new world, this greater, abundant, joyful, peaceful world that's right there in the invisible realm of spirit, waiting for us to call it in? We can do that. The world is at a tipping point right now of being able to do that. Each one of us can contribute to that side of the weight to bring it in. We have to have faith. Faith is a very strong belief in that which you cannot see. And that's what we need to have. Faith is not just a theological principle. It is a mental and emotional muscle, says Williamson. Yeah, faith is our spiritual muscle. We must believe that we can have and create a better world. So this tradition of giving, can we give that to the world? Can we give those thoughts, those beliefs from ourselves to the world? I'm sure that in the end, we would all be very thankful if that were to happen. Going to tradition about Thanksgiving. George Washington held on November 26th in 1789, after the Constitution was established, that we should celebrate a Thanksgiving, but no specific day. So for many years, there were Thanksgiving celebrations that people had, but it wasn't a consistent thing. Later, Congress established a day of celebration. This was instigated by Harry S. Truman. Harry S. Truman they were kind of thinking about this in 1946 Congress was. So he made a declaration that November 27th, 1947 would be the very first United States of America's first celebration on the fourth Thursday. That just happened to be the day that I came into this world. And because my father worked at that particular time in a grocery store and was expected to be there, sure, people needed to get groceries. I was taking a long time getting here. I didn't want to come. I wanted to come feet first into this world, plant myself strongly right here. That he wound up losing his job, which was unfortunate. But luckily, it led him to eventually getting into computers. So going back to the definition of thanks, where it is defined as expressing gratitude for an object or expressing appreciation for being given help, let us look at some ideas expressed in gratitude in a gratitude journal I was gifted to by my friend Julie. So I'd like you to take this moment, maybe close your eyes and just contemplate these expressions. Let's do this together. Look back in forgiveness and forward in hope, down in compassion and up with gratitude, from Zig Ziglar. That kind of goes along with that song, gratitude above me, below me, beside me, all around me. Yes. I am grateful for whatever helps my spirit grow. This was from Florida, Callaway. We must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives. John F. Kennedy. Gratitude is the memory of the heart. Jean-Baptiste Massieu. So let's take a moment and think of 5 people that you are grateful to either have had or have in your life. You can put your hands over your heart if you wish when you do this and silently thank them. I see a lot of smiling faces out there. When you are ready, come back. But remember to thank yourself. Okay, we're going to proceed to our blessing of our offering. So if you want to take your gift for the home center in your hands, if it's nothing more than I'm going to help rake the leaves out there or help with the cleanup after the meeting or whatever you can give it from your heart, bless it from your heart. So we take it and we say, let this be a gift, a blessing unto the home center that will reverberate outward as this energy goes out from whatever our gift is. It goes out into our community. It helps to keep this beautiful spiritual home for us. And it goes out from there into the outer community. And eventually it comes back around unto us, many-fold over, to bless us, that we may use it for all that we desire. And so it is. Amen. Okay. While that's going around for a minute, we're going to have Dick come up and give us his inspirational story and do the closing prayer.
I've spoken to my tongue. It says it's going to work better this time. I certainly hope so. Now, because I knew ahead of time what she was going to talk about, the thought that I recorded for this has been used before, but it was just so perfect. I had to do it again. Remembering who you truly are from the book God's Day 203, Forgiveness. You cannot see or touch resentment, yet it will weigh heavily on you who carry it. It is really too heavy a load to carry, for it will rob you of your peace of mind. Resentment and non-forgiveness are contributing psychosomatic factors in the onset of heart trouble, arthritis, and liver problems. I'll probably hit everybody out here on that one. And conversely, forgiving yourself and others is a major healing agent for these health problems. Forgiving yourself and others. Today, choose to release all such burdens. Through the power of forgiveness, free yourself today. In your quiet time, hold this prayer in your heart as you think of yourself and those that may be bearing resentment towards you. I now forgive myself and others. I bless and release them to God in peace. Leads us directly into our closing prayer. God, I pray for clear vision to see and the faith to believe my world can be a world free from violence. I see a new world without fear of people who commit injustice, of a world where their selfishness brings suffering upon others. I offer my life and thoughts and energy to the task of making peace. I pray we all are infused with this power and the stamina to fulfill the destiny to which we were created. To spread unconditional love, to be unconditional love. I love myself and others. I bless and release us into God in love and peace. Amen. And now I need to change glasses so we can sign off. Okay, to those watching us on Facebook and YouTube, this ends our Sunday service. The Home Spiritual Center signing off.